talk about Britney. So I know this must have shocked a lot of people, but Britney Spears, it was announced that yesterday, that would be Sunday, that with addition to everything going on this weekend, she announced that she is going to they try to make her go to rehab, and she said, yeah, yeah, yeah. She voluntarily decided to go. This was her decision. This wasn't, she was forced by anybody. And I will say this at the top with all the jokes and those shady things, and you know me for that I'm about to say, I'm actually glad that she looked at the situation of she was on live the other day recently smacking her ass cheeks on camera. Then you had the picture of Jaden and Sean Preston, where it was like they was holding her up literally like in the center, like it was they were reenacting Weekend at Bernie's. Remember this picture? Don't the ain't it giving y'all Weekend at Bernie's tease? Like she not even present. Like the soul done left the body and they holding up a dead body. That's what it's giving. So with all of that, then she on camera smack us. I said, "Oh Lord, here she go again. She back with the messy weave, and she up in there twirling in that room again." And I was like, "Oh, she must be having the episode." So now I was reading that she's taking her own health and mental health and all the stuff, all those priorities. Maybe she's doing this not just for her, but I also think she's probably doing this because she's finally got her sons back in her life. You know, Sean Preston was the only one that was holding out for the longest. Didn't want to be around his mother. Didn't want to deal with her and all this other stuff. Then the father came out with that book. I know everybody's still side eyeing them, being like, "What's y'all agenda? That y'all might be up to something." They don't necessarily trust that they're there for good intentions. We'll see how all that works out. She has also not set an exact like, you know how that when you go to rehab, is it 30 days? Is it 90 days? How long? She's there as long as she wants. She hasn't set a date according to people who know. She's just taking it one day at a time and working on herself. And I'm glad that with everything being said, she's actually taking the time to work on her mental health, to work on her physical, and not be out here, whatever. Because they said it was like she was doing substances. Allegedly, she was always going to Mexico to get Adderall. Allegedly. I got to say that alleged lie. I don't want nobody sending me a cease and desist and a sue and trying to, send me any lawsuits. So then probably out here mixing the Adderall with alcohol and things of that nature, where it may have been causing a lot of these episodes. And we know that Brittany has been through a lot due to her no good ass parents using and abusing her, the conservatorship, the fact that they were, the electroshock therapy and the lithium allegedly and all the things that they were doing to her, where they placed her on 5150 hold and a lot of things that was going on in her life. And plus the men that she was getting in relationships with using her from Justin Timberlake to that first husband, well, no, not first husband, because she was married to, I think she was married before she got with Kevin Federline and all that stuff. So, her rep and all through all of this basically confirmed to Page Six on Sunday that she voluntarily checked herself into a facility for treatment. The new development comes weeks after her arrest on a DUI charge in Ventura, California. She's due in court on May 4th. Or do you think maybe she's doing this because let me go to rehab because what if they make me do time or whatever the case is, and I show that I'm doing all the work to make myself better and everything, and I don't want to get sentenced to jail or community service or whatever the case is. Like some people would say, even though I legitimately feel like he's trying to get himself better, she's trying to pull a Lil Nas X. So she's been supported by her son, Sean Preston, who's 20, and Jaden James, who's 19, over the past few weeks. Sources told Page Six that Spears' arrest came as a wake-up call. At the time of the arrest, a source exclusively told the singer, 44, was incredibly emotional. According to our source, Spears felt ashamed and embarrassed and is very sorry for what had happened. It's been a very hard couple of months. This is what the source said. Now, the news of her decision to enter rehab was first reported by Celebrity Intelligence with Dan Wakeford. Child, somebody got the tea before TMZ? My God, today they must be slipping over there. Harvey, what you doing? You slipping over there with your tea or your breaking news. Now, on March 4th, Spears was taken into custody after authorities saw her swerving on that hill, swerving on that hill, but she was in and out of lanes. They also allegedly discovered an unknown substance inside her car during the arrest, and she is believed to have been on a cocktail of alcohol and drugs. Simply what I just told y'all, that allegedly she's been known to mix her Adderall that she was running over to Mexico to get, allegedly, and mixing them Adderall with the alcohol, which everybody knows you're not supposed to mix your alcohol with prescription medication. So, yeah, she was released the following morning per arrest records from the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. Now, a spokesman for the Ventura County District Attorney's Office told the California Post the DUI case against Britney has been submitted to the Ventura County District Attorney's Office and is under review by our prosecutors. She broke her silence on her arrest late last month on IG, where she shared videos with Jaden. I think it was this picture saying, "Thank you guys for all your support. Spending time with my family and friends is such a blessing." The toxic singer recently shared videos of her yacht getaway with her two sons, which is the picture I'm showing you, and she spent Easter with her with unexpected celeb pals. Diane Warren, who could use a gig because y'all still be playing in her face in regards to the songwriting, and Molly Shannon. Brittany, get back in the studio and write some songs, or let her Diane Warren write you a song. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm glad, like I said before, Brittany is getting her life together. She definitely needs to get her life together and on your own terms. You're no longer a part of that conservatorship. Your parents can no longer hurt you. As long as you have your kids who would genuinely hope, I really hope that her kids are genuinely in her life genuinely and not trying to use her. Because, and I feel like maybe this is a way for her to be able to rebuild or build a relationship with her sons, because she wasn't afforded that opportunity when they were kids because of the circumstances and the fact that the conservatorship and the fact that Kevin was probably out here saying certain things and the courts was taking their side. So now that they're old enough to be able to think for themselves and do for themselves, yes, their frontal lobes aren't fully developed. That won't be until they're in their mid 20s. But this is an opportunity for you to show that you want to get yourself together. You want to live long enough to see your boys go off and really be men out in the world and have their families, and you get to be a grandmother. And maybe you can live vicariously through your grandchildren and give them what you couldn't give your kids outside of the child support payments that you were forced to have to give from the courts. So I really hope that she's taking this seriously and this is not some little gimmick because she don't want to get any kind of harsh sentence thrown at her because of how she was behaving with her recent arrest. So I'm rooting for you, Brittany. And a lot of times when I say this about people, it's not to because you get them Britney stands that want to be like, but y'all be picking on her and y'all be da, 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 da. I was like, look, when I say things, yes, this mouth and my delivery can be a bit harsh, but I say it with love. If I didn't give a shit, I wouldn't have said nothing. You got me confused with the other podcasters who was running around talking about that she should have died instead of Heath Ledger. I would never say no crazy shit like that. But then they got their own deathbed karma situation that happened, and now they want to backpedal and rehabilitate how they see the world. And I'm glad you're on that journey, if you know who I'm talking about. But but at the same time, I don't mean no ill will on certain people unless you out here putting that energy on other people. Then I'm gonna read you down to the ground. But for the most part, I'm glad that Brittany is working on herself. I'm glad she's getting herself together. I hope she's doing this for the right reasons and also doing this not only for her, but because you got to do it for you at the end of the day before you could be there for your kids and all that other stuff. So shout out to you, Brittany. And we're rooting for you. We're all rooting for you. In the words of Tyra. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the latest on Britney Spears and her being in rehab and working on a treatment facility and working on getting her mind right and her body right and everything else right? I guess at this point we can just wrap up the fact of hoping that she comes out and does music. But I just definitely want her to get her health and everything together before anything else. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.